afternoon, Dr. Angrist.
Good afternoon.
This afternoon I'd like to establish a few of your credentials for the jury so they can just see how much experience you have in this area of pathology.
Okay.
Okay, could you tell us where you did your undergraduate work?
I did my undergraduate work at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where I got a BS in biology.
And following your undergraduate work, where did you go to medical school?
I went to medical school at the University of Chicago.
And following medical school, did you do an internship?
Yes, I did an internship at Northwestern University.
And following that, did you do a residency?
Yes, I went back to the University of Chicago School of Medicine.
Okay, so you've had quite an extensive college career and postgraduate work earning your degrees.
Correct.
And are you currently affiliated with any associations?
Yes, I'm currently affiliated with the American Medical Association, the AMA, as well as the Illinois Pathological Society and the Medical Society of the State of Illinois, among others.
Okay, and how about honors? Have you received any honors in your career?
Yes, I received the Honorary Doctor of Science degree from Yeshiva University, and I'm also the Townsend Harris Medal from the City of Chicago.
Okay. Based on your education, your honors, your publications, have you published items before?
Yes, over 200 articles, mainly in the area of pathology.
Okay. Based on all that, do you believe you are well qualified to render an expert opinion in this case?
I wouldn't be here if I didn't.
Great, thank you very much. Just to get a few other housekeeping issues out of the way, I'd like to ask you a little bit about your arrangements for being here to provide your expert testimony.
All right.
Have you provided expert testimony in the past for other cases?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And today you're here representing Mr. Ramirez.
That is correct.
And who is paying your fee to be here to give expert testimony?
I believe it is your law office.
Correct. And is our arrangement to pay you on an hourly basis, or is your fee dependent upon the outcome of this case?
It's an hourly basis.
Okay. And what is your hourly fee?
Around $500, I believe.
And how does that compare with your typical fees for services of this type?
It's consistent with this type of service.
Okay. So now that we've established your credentials, your arrangements to be here today, I'd like to transition to ask you a few things about the case itself.
All right.
In your preparation, did you have an opportunity to review the hospital records?
Yes, I did.
And following the review of the hospital records, did you have an opportunity to examine and interview Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, he came to my home for about an hour or so.
Okay. Based on your examination of Mr. Ramirez, could you tell us what you observed?
The first thing that I observed was that the puncture wound where the bullet actually entered his body was not symmetrical like you would expect to see with a straight shot. The wound was jagged around the edges.
Let me interrupt you for a minute here, and could you tell us what the significance of having a jagged entry wound indicates?
It suggests that Mr. Ramirez was moving at the time of entry and that it was not a static position when he was shot.
Okay. Let's go a little further with that. Once the bullet struck Mr. Ramirez, could you tell us where the entry wound was and the path that the bullet took?
The entry wound was through the back of the right shoulder, and the bullet traveled downward through his lung before it pierced his pericardium, which is the sac that surrounds the heart.
Okay. Let me ask you one last question. Based on what you read with the hospital records, your experience in education, and your physical observation or examination of Mr. Ramirez, do you believe that what you observed is consistent with Mr. Ramirez's testimony that he was in the process of getting off the ground when he was shot in the back?
I believe that is a valid claim.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.